if you made your very own voice demo? Have a mix of different styles of voice. If you can sound like a goose, add it.
Matt Dawson sent me the challenge to create a voiceover demo. Now, that is an audio file that showcases your work, kind of like a highlight reel. All your best bits, shows your range. Now, I have recorded it, but I won't play the demo in this app. But you can listen to it if you want to at workexperiencekit.com. Find the guest tab and then my name, which is Iain Duguid. Do I have what it takes to become a voiceover artist? Before we get into that, I want to remind you about the guest tab. I did just mention it. If you want to hire, say, me or Matt Dawson or any of the other guests that have appeared on the podcast, the guest tab at workexperiencekit.com is where to do it. In Matt Dawson's situation, he does have an agent. You can find Scout Management online or go through the website. So Matt, getting into the challenge, before we get into the results part, I want to know what you are thinking a good job looks, or in this case, sounds like.
All right, so what I'm looking for is light and shade. So I'm not just wanting the same style over and over again. So I'm wanting maybe a combination of things like a retail read. So for example, maybe there's a sale at Four Wheel Drive Supercenter and it's quite a high energy, high paced read. And then also some slower paced reads, perhaps for a charity. Perhaps you're voicing ads for the Cancer Council where you're just trying to portray empathy, and maybe some corporate stuff in there as well. Just lots of different ones just to sort of show your range.
Well, I sent you my voiceover demo. We won't play it now because I think it'd be quite boring for everyone to listen to. From what you've heard, would you hire me?
Look, I actually would. I can tell that you've done a bit of it before, and that comes through in the demo. I actually liked the light and shade that you have in there. Probably the most common feedback I get is to sound like I'm just chatting to a mate, that real natural tone. And you've got an example of that in there, which is Chef's Kiss. I definitely would hire you. I think that you'd be great. Let's get you an agent. Let's sign you up.
Okay, lovely. I have to talk to your agent and put the pressure on and make it sound like there's no expectation, but there really is.
Yeah, look, she does like Lindt chocolate. So just a little, if you want to get in there, just heads up.
All right. That's a nice bribe. I feel like maybe I'll keep bribing her and she won't give me work, but I'll keep bribing her, and the more work I don't get, the more Lindt she gets. So
that's true. Yeah, you're right. Ooh.
She might have figured it out.
She might be onto us.
All right, so I've got this voiceover demo. What should one do as a new voiceover artist to be successful?
I think you just need patience. I would suggest what you do now is start networking. Look at LinkedIn. You could even send your demo to some people in the industry. I feel like everyone is really supportive of that, and we're always trying to find fresh talent because your voice isn't out there. We've got a lot of voices, but yours isn't. And that's what I tell a lot of people that are trying to get into it.
Networking is how you get jobs, because I'm just looking at a advertising platform that I won't mention unless they sponsor the pod. There are 0 jobs for voiceover artists listed. They could be listed as something else. You've just answered the question. I think, someone who's not yet in the industry should be able to get a job if they're good enough. But how does one get those jobs / a voiceover agent?
Yeah, so it starts with networking. That's your number one thing. You've got to, talk to the people, reach out to people in the industry, other voiceover artists. Have a look at all the different agencies that are out there. For example, RMK, Scout Voices, EM Voices, and contact them. Reach out to them with your demo and just tell them a bit about yourself. Tell them what you can offer them. For example, these are what I think are my strengths. I'd love you to take a listen to this demo. I think I would bring XYZ to your agency. Once you're on the books, then you're in, and it's much easier to start a career. It's just trying to get that foot in the door. You only need one foot in the door and then you're in it for life. But just be relentless and just don't give up, and just keep contacting more and more people, getting feedback, improving things where you can, and you will get there. It may take time, but just be patient. And if you want it bad enough, it will happen.
Okay, lovely. And can I please clarify? So your voiceover agent, they get you work, they take a percentage of what you're making them?
Yep, that's correct. They do, yes. So they take a percentage and that's how they make money. And yeah, so a client will often call the agency and they will sort of maybe describe the kind of voice that they would like. And then my agent might compile a list for them and say, oh, hey, have a listen to these demos. These are probably the people that are most suitable. And the client will have a listen and maybe shortlist a couple, and then you might audition for the job, or you might just get it. They might like it from your demo, and then you get the job, and You might even turn up to the job and they'll say, "Oh, I want you to sound like you did on the RSPCA ad, for example, that's on your demo." So that's kind of how it works.
Okay, cool. Well, I think I'll have to get a voiceover agent on to learn a little bit more about it. But thank you for just a quick overview. And I can totally understand where you need to show them how they can make money, because if they've got you on the books, it costs them money and you need to make them money. So it's a nice little agreement there. Finally, is there anyone that you follow or track that you use to improve, and maybe I could use to improve my own voiceover?
Well, it's not so much a person that I look out for. It's more so trends. So it's just as easy as listening to the radio and listening to the kind of ads that you're hearing at the moment. Is there some kind of trend that's happening? For example, is it more softer sell ads where people are just talking in their normal voice?
You gave an example at the start where no longer are you talking in your radio voice. You sound a bit more natural. That sort of thing?
Yeah, exactly. Or is it, watch TV, watch the commercial breaks, and just learn?
All right. Well, thank you very much for listening to my demo. Thank you for giving me some hope in that I could get some work as a voiceover artist. And I hope to be able to join you in a studio one day. We can do a fun little voiceover session.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm in.
And before we wind up, if you're thinking about creating your own voiceover demo, where do you get the content? You need some scripts. Now, Matt was nice enough to send me a handful of scripts for me to do as a voiceover. I haven't done these ads in the past. I've done them fresh for this trial episode. But if you're thinking about doing your own demo, where do you get scripts? I think the best thing to do is listen to the radio, record it, TV, whatever, write down the scripts they've used, and potentially even copy the style of voiceover or the style of voice on that commercial. That might be a good start. And now we're done. Thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe to the pod so the next episode lands in your feed. Give it a 5-star review as well. Why not? You can get involved and see all the guests on the pod at workexperiencekid.com.